Hello guys, welcome to the third part of the business etiquette. And in this particular video, we are going to cover the next few topics. So let me just give you the briefing about what we covered in the first video. So in the first video, we have covered the points 1 to 7 for the business etiquette, and then in the second part of the video, we have covered from point number 8 to point number 12. Okay, so basically in our previous video, the dining manner we have covered, then etiquettes we have covered, guidelines on internet usage and emails, then guidelines on using the voicemail and cell phone we have covered, and then guidelines for the thank you we have covered. So now in this particular video, we are going to cover dress for success, dress colors, interviewer perceptions, dress codes, and guidelines in a international etiquette that we are going to cover. So the remaining 12 to 15 points we are going to cover in this particular video. So before we start with that, let me again request you to subscribe to my channel if you are already not subscribed to the channel. The name of the channel is Online Trainings, so where this video has been posted. So when you click on the channel name Online Trainings, you will see one subscribe button. Click over that, and that way you can subscribe to my channel. So you will remain posted with all the future videos which will get posted. You will get the intimation if you will subscribe to my channel. And the another thing is that whenever you want to refer it back, you can use it as a bookmark to come back to this particular YouTube channel, and you can check out the other trainings all as well. Okay, so let's move on to the point number 12, that is a dress for success. So let me quickly go to that particular slide, and we'll start from there, this particular presentation. Okay, all right, so the very first point here is that dress according to your company's requirements. If the company has a no dress code policy, dress in the same manner as a senior management. So that is basically just kind of a simple rule you can follow. If your company is having the policy which is defines the dress code, then you dress according to your company's requirements. So most of the companies have like Monday to Friday, Thursday they follow the formal business code. That's for the dress code, the formal business, and then on a weekend, that is on a Friday, or if your company is working even on a Saturday, then they normally follow the business casual. So you need to follow that. Okay, and if the you need to check with your company whether the jeans are allowed or not allowed, and accordingly wear the clothes. Okay, if the company has a no dress code policy, then you can just follow what your senior management is following, and you just wear the clothes accordingly. Don't apply too much perfume, which is not a good thing. Shine your shoes. So polishing your shoes is kind of a mandatory, because when you are working at a professional company, you want to look in a good manner. So that's why the people look at your shoes also. And if you are not in a good condition, it leaves a bad remark on your profile. Okay, so it is for your own benefit that you remain well dressed, and you polish your shoes and approach to the work. Okay, then adopt the proper grooming as per the occasion, so that you need to take care of it. Then take the time to brush your teeth, shave, style your hair, and trim your nails. Okay, so here the 2 points which we are discussing is that as per the occasion, like say if it is a company picnic or something, then you can wear the casuals. But if it is a company party and the dress code has been defined, then you need to groom yourself accordingly. Then take the time to keep yourself clean, like brush your teeth, shave, style your hair, and trim your nails, etc. So these are the basic things which one needs to take care of it. And then don't have the any visible body piercing. So if you are having any tattoos or body piercing kind of a things, then you try to cover that thing. Don't make it visible, especially if you are working in a professional world. Okay, if you are working in an other industries like Hollywood or Bollywood kind of a things, that time it may be okay to have that kind of appearance, but not especially if you are working in the business community like a finance industries, or like financial companies or banking, this kind of a things, insurance companies. So especially if you are in a BFSI sector, try to avoid that. And also in the other pharma companies and all, if you are working in a professional companies, then you make sure that you follow the proper attire, business attire. Okay, and then facial piercing sends the signals that you are flashy and unprofessional. So even if that isn't the case, so try to avoid that. And also try to keep your hair in a proper way. Don't go for the kind of a trimming style and coloring, with a different color kind of things which actors and all they do. So don't go for that, and you keep it in a proper manner. So moving to the next slide, dress color and interviewer perception. So if you are wearing a blue color dress, then words that describe the color blue include trust, loyalty, wisdom, and peaceful. So there is a color code, personality related things. Some people have that knowledge which can help them to identify the person's personality based on the kind of a clothes he is wearing. So here I'm just describing that what the each color, dress color reflects, and how the interviewer establishes his perceptions. Okay, so when you are wearing a blue color, the words that describe the color blue include trust, loyalty, wisdom, and peacefulness. This is exactly the type of a feelings you want to be portraying in your interview. Blue is a calming color, ocean and sky, and sends out a signal to the interviewer that you are indeed honest and sincere. Okay, so honesty and sincerity basically gets reflected with the blue color. Studies have shown that wearing the color blue to an interview will increase your chances of getting hired than wearing any other color. So, if you are going for the interview, then I personally recommend you that you wear the light blue color shirt and maybe the dark blue color trouser or something, and chances of getting hired will be much higher, if you are going it that way. And for females also, the same way, they can wear the light blue color top and the any other, like, if you are going for the trouser, then wear it navy blue kind of a things, or maybe if you are going for a skirt or something, then you wear it accordingly, the dark blue color, okay, to match it with your top. Okay, then the red color. In contrast to the color blue, the color red stirs the emotions more than any other color. The color red is a strong color, okay? It's a very emotional and extreme color that in an interview scenario can work against you, okay? So it's not a good idea to wear the red color in the interview. If you are going for a party, then you want to be a catchy, and then you go for the red color, that is a fine, okay? But unlike blue, which has a calming effect, the color red is a fiery color, the color of love and passion, and can be an intimidating color for the interviewer. So please try to avoid the red color as far as possible. Okay, then the orange, again it depends, what kind of a job profile you are applying for, what kind of a job position you are applying for. If you are going in another like a glamorous industry, there the red color may be acceptable, but not in the other professional world, the professional companies. Okay, so orange color, now similar to the red, a color that stirs the emotions, and therefore a color I would avoid wearing in a job interview. Although orange is not seen to be as an aggressive as the color red, it is still perceived as a color which can evoke the feelings of a power and aggression. Okay, so try to avoid even the orange color. Gray, my second favorite color to wear after blue is a gray. Gray gives the look of a sophistication and authority. Okay, in a corporate world or corporate environment, the color gray is a professional and portrays an individual as being a confident without being intimidating. Okay, so if you are wearing a gray color, then your personality looks like a more assertive than aggressive. So in a red and orange, it goes like you are a more aggressive kind of a person, but and the emotional kind of a person. But with the gray, it looks more assertive kind of a things, and you looks to the other person that you are more confident. Okay, the purple. Purple is the color of royalty. The color symbolizes power, aristocracy, lavishness, and extravagance. Okay, so it shows like, you are a more royal kind of a person, and the color symbolizes power and aristocracy and lavishness. So if you are applying in a very high position, like, CEO profile or maybe in a leadership profile, then maybe the purple color could be okay, but not in other cases. Okay, now the black color, be careful when wearing just a black to an interview, or try to avoid the black color. I will say the color black is seen as a power color and can be viewed as a threatening. Wearing black outfits can portray an individual as being powerful or even arrogant. Okay, so try to avoid the black color. I will say black is also associated with a negative implications such as a death, sin, and fear. So basically in a color psychology, they say that green is the most kind of a positive attitude person, and the black is exactly opposite. So if the person is having the negative attitude, all things, he will choose the black color shirt to wear on the interview day. If he is quite kind of a more positive and that kind of a person, he will go for the green color. But especially when you are going for the interview, try to go with the a light blue or the gray color shirt. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Dress codes. A dress code is a set of rules governing what garments may be worn together and in a what setting. Okay, so these are just a few of the occasions, and on a what occasions, what kind of things you should follow. So first, dress code is a ceremonial dress code and a court dress. This is a country specific. So based on the country, if you are living in India, you will be wearing it accordingly. The traditional dresses for the ceremonials based on the ceremony, of course. And if it is in a US, then obviously the based on the occasion, like say if it's a Halloween party, you will be wearing a Halloween costume. If it's a Christmas party, then you will be wearing accordingly. Those kind of things will change. Okay, so when you are so it's based on a country. Okay, and then the formal. So formal you normally wear at the weddings, at the state dinners, etc. occasions. Semi-formal. Semi-formal you wear theater opening nights, charity balls, etc. occasions you wear the semi-formals. Informal. The diplomatic and business meetings. Okay, many social occasions, everyday wear, you normally wear the informal. So that is just kind of a casual, you can say. It's informal. And business wear is included in the informal category, generally consisting of a business suit and tie. Okay, so that is the way for the business wear. It just consists of the business suit and tie. Business casual don't include the jeans unless meeting is at a lounge or a bar or at someone's place. So jeans is not included in the business casuals. And other things are fine, having a cargos or kind of a things. But the casuals, in a casuals, it even includes the jeans as well. Okay, so that was all about the dress codes. Now let's move on to the next slide. Here I'll be discussing about the guidelines in the international etiquette. Okay, so when you are dealing in the international audience, basically the other person is coming completely from the different culture, and he may be having different perceptions because he's coming from a different culture altogether compared with your culture. Okay, so there are certain things which you should not discuss out because they may feel that you are getting more personal, which may be acceptable in your country but not in their countries. Okay, so there are kind of a lot of things are there which are a kind of a classes which are acceptable to them very easily, but which are not acceptable in your culture because you have been grown up in that particular manner. Okay, so first guideline is that have the tolerance and acceptance of others behavior from a different country and culture, because they are coming all together from a different country and the culture, so the cultural differences are going to be there. No matter how hard you try, you cannot fill up the gap. So you have to be acceptable to their culture, you need to have the tolerance to that. Okay, you can't be very hard and fast and stringent in accepting in a setting the expectations from the others behaviors, because they are coming completely from a different culture, they may not be aware of your traditions, so they may bound to make the mistakes, and you need to tolerate that, you need to accept that, because they are not doing intentionally but they are doing it unknowingly. It may be a very common in your culture and your tradition, but for them it is a completely new thing and they are completely unaware of it. Okay, so you need to be show a more tolerance kind of a thing when dealing with them. That's the point which I'm trying to make. The second part is that sometimes the mannerisms and behaviors shown by these people will be totally alien to your own. So that's what I was saying. For example, in Africa and the Far East, so where direct eye contact is often considered extremely rude, which is the opposite of how it is perceived in the Western world. Okay, so in the few of the African and Far East countries, when you are continuously maintaining the eye contact, that is gets considered as a rude. Okay, but in a Western country it is completely opposite. When you are talking with them, the Western people expects you that you maintain the eye to eye contact with them, and that's how they they feel more comfortable in a talking to you if you are maintaining the proper eye contacts. So that even I have experienced actually in one of the occasions, like I was talking without looking at that person, and then he pointed me, can you just look at me and talk, because I'm not comfortable that way. So that's what you should try to see the culture, what culture they are coming from, and try to adopt that. That is the point I'm trying to make. So this was a good analogy. Let's move on to the next one. When you travel overseas, it is important to learn about the traditional customs of the place you are going to visit. So there are a lot of things which, a lot of documents which keep floating on the internet. And like say for example, when I went to America, so at that point of time, like I was around 24 years old, and I have read some of the documents to get accustomed with their culture. So there was a one document which was floating on the internet coming to America, and in that the people have shared their experience, like what kind of a culture is there in a US. The people who have gone to US from the India, they have created this document and they have shared their experiences that these are the kind of things which they have faced in a getting adapted to the new culture. And so they had given the hints, like this can happen to you also, and this is how you can overcome. Like one of the small example is that daylight savings. Okay, so being in India, we have never seen a time getting changed, but in US there are four different time zones, and especially even in that they are having the daylight savings actually, which happens every 6 months. So whenever they switch from the fall to the winter kind of things, or the fall to the spring season, or spring to back to the winter, so at the time those the time gets changed and the clock gets shifted by 1 hour, they advance it. So many of the people were not aware of that logic who are coming from India to America, and they were facing that issues of time getting changed. And so it is a good idea, to be aware of that culture. Also, there is a culture of left side driving in the US, and here it's like a right hand driving. So you when you are crossing the road, also we face the problems when you are going from India to US. Okay, so all these things are there, and it takes some time to get adopt with the new culture. And then the US people, like especially in those who are living in the country life kind of things, where they are like where which is a very remote places, you can say village areas and all in the US. Over there, there is a very hardly population is there. So whenever the people go for a walk and all, they give a smile to each other. So those kind of things are not very common in the Indian cities and all. So the people, they don't smile at each other if they are strangers, but in a US it is a very common. They greet the people, they give the smile even to the strangers. So all these things are there, which I am just highlighting about the international cultural differences which you will come across when you visit any of the foreign countries. So the example which I have cited, that was about US, but it can apply to any other countries. Like even in Austria, if you go, the way they wish is Grüß Gott, they say, like God's wishes they give. That's the meaning. So Grüß Gott is a German word, and its meaning is the God's wishes they are giving it to. So instead of saying hello, they say Grüß Gott. That is a normal practice there. So that way there are different practices in each of the country, and we need to understand their culture and we need to adopt it. Okay, so then only we can move ahead in the international etiquette. Let's move on to the next slide. So here I will be covering the summary of whatever we have covered so far. So in the very first video, we have defined the etiquette, and that's how we started. What is business etiquette? Then I highlighted the importance of the etiquette. Then how to introduce yourself when you are dealing with completely new people, and when you are introducing yourself in a business meeting or to the group of people, how you can introduce yourself. Okay. Then identify three C's of a good impressions that we have covered. So then the next point which we have covered is how to use a business card effectively. So when you are issuing a business card to the other person, how you should give it the card, how you should introduce yourself, all those things we covered. Then remembering the names we have covered, how what is the importance of remembering the names, and what are the different hints I have given you, like how you can remember the name easily, how you can memorize it easily. Then three steps of handshake. When you are doing the handshake, how you should do the handshake, that is again the part of the manner, so that I have covered. Then dining manner as part of the business etiquette I have covered, dining manner in a restaurant, and how to give a signals to the waiter. So how it happens in the US and how it happens in the continental countries. So those things we already discussed. And then the netiquette, so guidelines in the internet usage and how to write the emails. So how to draft your emails in the business scenario, some of the hints I have given you. How to start with it, how to write a short and sweet emails, all those things we covered. Okay, then guidelines in the use of the voicemail and the cell phone we have covered. So when you are leaving a message on answering machine, what are the things you should take care of, and when you are talking over the cell phone, how you should go ahead. Okay, and then the guidelines for a thank you. In what all cases you should say thanks. Like if you have gone for the interview, then after coming back on the next day, probably you can send a note of a thanks to the interviewer. So that is so one practice which I have cited, and there are a lot of things guidelines we have given you in the thank you related slide. Then the dress for the success, how to dress up, how to dress up for the success that we have shown. In the dress colors, the interviewer perceptions we have covered, the how the blue color and gray color are more preferable during the interviews. So that we have covered. And then the dress codes, I have explained you what is a business formal, what is business informal, what is a business casuals, what is casuals, what is a formal, what is informal, all those different types of a dress code, semi-formal, those things we have covered. Guidelines in a international etiquette, I have discussed few of the guidelines that when you are dealing with the international people, what kind of things you should follow, how they are coming from the different culture, how you should respect their culture, and how you can adopt that. So only by acquiring the knowledge, if you are especially going to a foreign country, make sure that you understand their culture. There are a lot of information available on the internet nowadays. Just do the Google search and you will figure it out. Many of the articles you will come across to learn about the culture of that particular specific country. Okay, let's move on to the next. So I think we have covered this, so let me just thank you for watching my video. And as I mentioned again, I am mentioning, please subscribe to my channel. The channel name is Online Trainings, and you can just click on the channel name Online Trainings, and after that you will see the subscribe button. So please do click on the subscribe button, so your future bookmark will get maintained, and also you will get all the intimations for any of the future videos which we will upload in this particular channel. Alright, so thanks for watching the video again. Thank you so much. Bye bye.